1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Please, figures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Move to the right, left and right. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Arrive. Single time, quick man.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Please remain standing for the national anthem, which will be led by the police brass band.
Hey, national salute! Say, comes!
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, all guests present, this is a special provincial official funeral for Mr. Singh, and we'd like to acknowledge the presence of the Premier of the province, the presence of various leaders in the province, various veterans who are present and who have come from far and wide, the organizations that Mr. Singh belonged to, and there were a range of organizations, his colleagues, comrades, and of course, most importantly, his family. All of you are present here, and welcome in these proceedings. Without further ado, let me hand over to the Mayor of eThekwini Metro, Honorable Councillor V.C. Kaba, to do the welcoming remarks.
Program directors, Comrade Maggie Gavenda and Comrade Sibongiseni Dlomo, the Singh family, the Premier of the province of KwaZulu-Natal, Honorable Tamin Doli, the Leader of Government Business, Honorable Siboniso Duma, and all other members of the Executive Council, the Speaker of eThekwini Municipality, Councillor Thabani Nyawase, the former Mayor of eThekwini, former Councillor James Nxumalo, leaders of the SACP, the leadership of the African National Congress led by Comrade Jeff Radebe, the former minister at the national level. I saw other former ministers present here. Leadership of COSATU, leadership of SANCO, the leadership of the province of KwaZulu-Natal, ANC, SACP, and SANCO, comrades, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the people of eThekwini Municipality, we would like to convey our sincere condolences to the family of Comrade Singh, to our organization, the African National Congress, and to the entire nation for whom he dedicated his whole life. Ladies and gentlemen, it is through the sacrifices and total commitment of people like Comrade Sani that we enjoy the freedom we have today. We therefore want to thank the Singh family. We want to thank your mommy for sharing your beloved husband, brother, mother, and friend and grandfather with us as a nation. Having served 10 years on Robben Island, Comrade Sani's spirit remained unbroken. He went on to serve the ANC in exile, where he continued his work as an Umkhonto weSizwe operative, later joining MK's military intelligence. As we pay our last respect to our comrade, we must pause and reflect on our own contribution towards fulfilling the vision of such struggling stalwarts, a vision of a just, equal, and prosperous society. Comrade Sani was a true son of the soil. His commitment to the struggle epitomized the selfless and visionary qualities required to confront the challenges we face today. We are indeed robbed of his wisdom, which would have been instrumental in the renewal program of the African National Congress. His dedication to justice and equality must inspire us to take up the baton and recommit ourselves to the fight for a South Africa free from social ills such as drug abuse, teenage pregnancy, violent crime, inequality, and gender-based violence and femicide. Ladies and gentlemen, it is significant that Comrade Sani's passing coincides with the commemoration of 165 years since the arrival of the indentured laborers. Last week, we celebrated the world premiere of the film, The Cane Carter, which honors and recognizes the contribution of South Africans of Indian descent to the fight against colonialism. As a country still grappling with poverty, unemployment, and inequality, we must draw inspiration from the bravery and resilience of this son of the soil and tackle these challenges head on. We must ensure that the legacy of this struggle stalwart lives on for generations to come. Let us emulate his leadership qualities of selflessness, discipline, bravery, accountability, and unity of purpose as we advance the noble goal of building a better life for all. Hamba kahle, Comrade Singh, hamba kahle.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kaba, the Mayor. I now call upon Mr. Michael Mabuya Kulu, who is the coordinator of the KZN Provincial Task Team of the African National Congress, to come and read the obituary of Mr. Sani Singh.
Thank you very much, Program Directors, Ms. Gavenda, as well as Dr. Lomo, the Honorable Premier of the Province of KwaZulu-Natal, Honorable Duli Mpemba, the Leader of Common Business, Honorable Duma Chombeni, His Worship the Mayor of eThekwini, Councillor Kaba Nonkosi, as well as Upungane, Mr. Jeff Hadebe, who is the provincial convener of the African National Congress, all distinguished leaders. But may I then stand on the protocol, but pay special attention to the family, the Singh family, Umila in particular, and the entire family. As I read the obituary, may I then request that we all stand as a sign of respect for our fallen hero, from Ketomena to consciousness. Sani always began his story with a place. He grew up in Mkumban, Katomena, a crowded working-class settlement on the edge of Durban, the youngest of the 5 brothers and 2 sisters. His father had come to Natal as an indentured worker. His mother worked long hours as a factory machinist. The family shared small rooms and big dreams. Their landlord, an Indian slumlord, became his first immediate enemy, teaching him that exploitation could come from one's own community as much as from the state. As a boy, he watched people humiliated over rent and arrears and saw decent families live in fear of eviction. Schooling came late. Because there were so few schools in the area, Singh only started primary school around the age of 11 to 12. He finished standard 6, grade 8, near 18 years, by which time he was already working to help support the household. Political awareness came early. As a teenager, he watched the 1956 treason trial unfold and helped raise funds for the accused. The passing of the Group Areas Act, the removals from Keto Manor, made him see how law could be used to destroy the entire communities. He later said that these were the years when an awareness campaign began to develop, that what he had experienced with the landlord in Mkumbani was part of a much bigger system. In the mid-1950s, he found his first political home in the Natal Indian Youth Congress and the Natal Indian Congress under Dr. Monty Naika. Later, he would remember the potato boycott as the moment when these organizations truly became home. From then on, the path was set, a life lived in organized resistance, rooted in the streets and lanes of his childhood. As repression tightened after Sharpeville and the burning of the ANC, Singh was among those who concluded that peaceful protests alone would not stop the violence of the state. In 1962, he was recruited into Umkhonto weSizwe as part of the Durban Central Cell, commanded by Ibrahim Ismail Ibrahim. Their targets were symbols of apartheid: power pylons, railway lines, signal boxes, government offices used by collaborators, chosen to avoid the loss of life. Singh later spoke about his first act of sabotage on the railway line beneath the Victoria Street Bridge, a nerve-wracking night that marked a point of no return. Those were the days when they were known as the Dynamite Indians, young, under-resourced, and audacious, carrying explosives in paper bags, planning operations in small rooms, and returning quietly to their beds before the blast lit up the light. Then came the betrayal that changed everything. A comrade broke under pressure and gave up the cell. Singh was arrested along with 18 others. And in October 1963, they stood in the dock in the Pietermaritzburg sabotage trial, one of the largest such trials in the then Natal. In February 1964, he was sentenced to 10 years on Robben Island. He arrived there at the age of 25, one of a generation whose youth the regime tried to bury in stone and salt water. Prison meant thin food, hard labor in the lime quarry, and constant attempts to break their spirits. Yet, Robben Island also became, in Sunny's words, our university. He read widely, studied politics and history, and for about 8 years, led the clandestine news network that smuggled newspapers, radio bulletins into prison. Through hunger strikes, petitions, and quiet defiance, the prisoners turned the island from a dumping ground into a political school. Sunny was released from Robben Island in 1974 after serving his full sentence. Within days, he was placed under a 5-year banning and restriction order and kept under constant surveillance. He was not allowed to attend meetings, work freely, or move without permission. Despite this, he helped establish community projects in Chatsworth and Merebank. These were clinics, the legal advice offices, quiet political education classes, and began drawing a new generation of activists into the underground. Among those he influenced at this time was a young Ivan Pillay. After the 1976 Soweto uprising, the regime moved to detain and crush growing resistance, ordered by the ANC to continue his work from outside. Sunny slipped out of the country via Swaziland to Mozambique, and from there to MK camps in Angola and training in Germany. In Mozambique, Sunny helped guide operations aimed at strengthening internal resistance in the then Natal and beyond. He survived the 1981 Matola raid, in which many comrades were killed, and later served in the MK's military intelligence under Comrade Ronnie Castles. After the Nkomati Accord in 1984, he became chair of the MK Military Committee in Maputo, responsible for getting arms and trained cadres back into South Africa as ANC military structures were tactically redeployed. He was then moved to ANC headquarters in Lusaka, working in the Department of International Relations and providing logistical support to Operation Vula, the underground network led by Comrade Mac Maharaj. From 1988, he served for about 4 years as an ANC representative in the Netherlands, heading the ANC mission, strengthening ties with the Dutch unions, the churches and solidarity groups, and preparing for the day when the movement would return home openly. When the then President Nelson Mandela was released in 1990, Sunny longed to return home. The ANC asked him to remain in the Netherlands a little longer, to take advantage of the new political climate and build support of the new political conditions and build support for the movement. In 1990, he helped organize the Mandela's first official visit to Holland, including meetings with the Dutch government and Queen Beatrice, and a mass rally in Amsterdam, attended by about 20,000 people. Sunny returned to South Africa at the end of 1991. Back in KwaZulu-Natal, he re-immersed himself in political and community work. He helped establish an education initiative that offered Saturday extra lessons in township at CODESA, contributing to the negotiations that would shape the new democratic order. In 1992, he married his dear wife, Umila, in a small ceremony in Durban. On the same day, he gave his young bride a glimpse of the next 33 years, straight after the vows he took her to a rally at the Caris Fountain, where she changed out of her sari into jeans and turkeys, and in the back seat of the car. After the 1994 elections, Sani joined the police service in Durban, serving in crime intelligence until 2008. For him, transforming the security forces was not an abstraction. It meant turning instruments of fear into services